everybody, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Elizabeth Hines from the Autoimmune Free Cooking Club and Total Wellness Health Coaching. I am going to show you a great new air fryer recipe tonight. These are sweet potato fritters. I always say tonight, even though it's afternoon. Usually I'm filming when I'm cooking my dinner, and so it makes sense that I would say that, but in this particular instance, it's afternoon, and I still said night. But I think you know what I mean. I'm making sweet potato fritters, and I'm going to make them in my new air fryer. And it starts with shredding sweet potatoes, which is not a complicated thing to do with a box grater, a cheese grater, whatever kind of grater you have. A sweet potato will actually grate up pretty easily. But I'm just going to use my food processor because it's easy. And faster. It saves my arms. Okay, so now I have shredded my sweet potatoes, and I really want 2 cups, just about 2 cups. So I'm going to see how much I have. These are Japanese sweet potatoes. They're white, as you can see. They're not quite as sweet as the orange kind. When I first made this recipe, I used the orange kind, so they will work really, really well. Let me get a bowl. I might just double the recipe. Let's see how much I have. So you want to really pack the shreds down in there. You saw that I had one medium to large sweet potato, and the other one was, I would say, just medium sized. So I probably could have gotten away with just the one. Yeah, for sure. So I've got 4 cups. So that's twice what I need. So I will just double the recipe. So I had my shredding disc in. Now I'm just going to put my regular mixing blade. I'm just going to mix it all in here, which is going to make my life really easy. We just have a few simple ingredients. Let me get all of this in. And then, so these little pieces that didn't shred, I'll just give them a quick chop, and they'll get mixed up with when I get my other ingredients in there. So I need double of what I have. For the straight up recipe, I needed 2 eggs. So now I need 4. I gotta get stuff out. I was all prepared. So I'm making these in the afternoon, and we'll reheat them at dinner because for dinner we're having fried flounder in the air fryer. So, and I'm going to video that for you. So I'm just trying to make my life easy by doing these ahead, and then I'll just heat them up in the oven. And now I will have a batch of them to stick in the freezer to make an even easier weeknight meal. And it will let me try reheating in my air fryer, because in case you haven't seen, I have a new air fryer. It's right back here. I will bring it out in just a second. And I'm really enjoying it so far. But there are lots and lots more things to try. So that was 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. So the recipe is 2 cups of shredded sweet potatoes, 1/2 cup of almond flour, 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, 2 eggs, 2 large eggs, and then some spices, which I'll get to you in a second. So I'm just doubling it. This mayonnaise I'm using is Chosen Foods avocado oil mayo. It tastes good. It's really clean ingredients. It costs $6.99, I believe, for this jar at Costco. So it's really, I have been making my own homemade mayonnaise for a long time with avocado oil, and the avocado oil has gotten so expensive that frankly it's cheaper for me to buy that. So I've been buying it. They've been having it, and I've been buying it. Okay, that is my timer for my laundry, because my dryer is old and the timer, the sensor on it doesn't work anymore, so I have to actually go and check on my laundry. But I'm going to put in my spices. It's just salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic powder. So it should be 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. So I, of course, used 1/2. And it's 1/2 of paprika. So I'm putting in a full teaspoon of paprika. You could use smoked paprika if you like that. Black pepper. And this is about empty. I need to fill it, but that was, again, the recipe is, oh, I put in too much. Ooh, yikes. Well, they're going to be peppery. I read my recipe wrong. It was supposed to be 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, so I should have put in 1/2, and I put in a full. My husband will love it because he loves black pepper. And then I need, instead of doing that 8 times, let's just get a bigger one, a teaspoon of salt. So we need 2 of those. Okay, so I'm going to process this and drink my coffee. This food processor does a really great job. But even still, there's always a little bit kind of at the top that I'm going to want to just scrape down, make sure everything's getting mixed in really well. I think I'm just going to process one more time real quick. Actually, hold. Since I have this bowl already, I'm going to make it easier for myself to dish these out by transferring this mixture. If you want something a little bit different for Thanksgiving, instead of the sweet potato casserole, this would be a great option. It's just a teeny bit sweet. We've obviously made it savory with the garlic and paprika, lots of pepper, mayo. The mayo has, that Chosen Foods mayo has a really great flavor, so you actually get flavor from that. A little bit of nuttiness from the almond flour. So it would definitely be still sweet potatoes, obviously, but an alternative to the sweet potato casserole. All right, let me pause, go take care of my laundry, and then we'll do the air fryer part. Okay, so here's my new air fryer. This is the Instant Pot Vortex Plus. There is just the regular Vortex that is all black. It doesn't have this stainless steel look to it. And as far as I know, I'm not an expert by any means, but as far as I know, it's the same, except it doesn't have the dehydrate function. It may go as low as this one. I can't remember what the dehydrate temperature is. I'll have to look it up. Maybe 95 degrees. So it may go that low. I don't know that. But this one in particular, the Vortex Plus, has that dehydrate function, which is something I wanted, which is partly why I chose this one. It had really good reviews. Let me get it started. So for temp, I want 375 and time 8 minutes. I'm going to let it preheat. The recipe is not new. I have made the recipe, but I haven't made them in the air fryer. So I'm going to be honest and tell you that I'm guessing. Okay, I'm guessing on the temperature. I'm guessing on the time. When we've cooked something like frozen chicken nugget or something, 400 for a few minutes has been perfect. It crisps everything up on both sides without having to flip, that kind of thing. This, I'm gonna want to flip these, I'm pretty sure, which makes me think I might not have a good spatula. I don't want to, because it's a non-stick coating in there, I don't want to scratch it. I'll just have to not fill it so full that I can't get my flipper in there. So it's sweet potato, which takes a while to cook all the way through. So when I made these on my stovetop, I browned them on both sides. You want them to kind of set so you can flip them, because you can see the texture is, you know, it's thick, but it will fall apart if you try to flip them before they're set. So you want them crispy on the outside, but they need to be baked on the inside. So I don't want a super high temperature, because then they'll end up burning before they're done on the inside. So I'm going to play around with the temperature just a little bit, and hopefully it won't take me too many tries to get it just right. It's already hot. I'm going to spray my avocado oil spray. Okay. I hate being messy. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 6 in there. I'm going to spray the tops as well. So now you saw there was lots of space. I could have gotten more in. This will probably take me about 3 batches. So if I hadn't doubled 2, or I could have really packed them in. But the problem with packing them in is that I think it's going to be hard for me to get my flipper in there to flip them over. So I wanted to leave some space, and I knew I would have to do multiple batches anyway. So you could turn your oven on and get them real crispy real fast. Like you could turn it up to 400, 425, and then put them in the oven and bake them if you have something else in the oven. But for me, the point of this is really I'm not heating up my oven, or I'm using it as an accessory oven. So I really want to show you how to make these things entirely in the oven. All right, so we're gonna let these cook. I'm gonna go fold my laundry, and I'll be back. Alrighty, we're halfway through. They have a nice little brown on the top. They did kind of sink into my tray a little bit. You can see how that one that was down in the center, it kind of ripped, and it's still really not done. So I'm going to reduce the temperature. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to do 350 for 8 more minutes, and let's see how they do. I'll have to keep checking. Okay, so at 6 minutes, these were good. So I'm going to try 350 for 10 minutes, and we'll see how they turn out. I'll show that to you in just a minute. But let's get these in. So I spray that really well. I know I'm going to need to do a 3rd batch the way I'm layering these in, so I'm just not going to overfill it. Alright, so temp, time, start. So these look so funny because when I've made them before, I've used orange sweet potatoes, but they just have a really nice texture. Great flavor. They would be so good if you added some spinach or kale or Swiss chard, something like that, into the food processor and chopped it up, mixed them in. You would barely even taste that, and you'd get a veggie in there, another veggie. Good. Okay, I'll come back and I'll let you know for sure the time and temp. Alrighty, I tripped over my camera, so it took me a minute to get back here. Halfway, it was telling me to flip. Sorry, it wasn't halfway because it's 10 minutes and it was at 4 minutes, which is what I have noticed. I didn't see anything about that in the instructions kind of explaining that, but it just seems to be a little bit more than halfway through. It tells you to flip your food. And yes, I ate 2 of these while I said, well, we were on break, well, we were at commercial, and they're super, super good, and they're definitely done all the way through. I ate one that was, I used the scoop, so they're pretty much the same size, but some I had flattened down a little bit more than the other, so I ate a puffier one, I ate a flatter one, and they were perfect. So I'm thinking that the 350 for 10 minutes is going to be just right, so we'll see in just a second. Okie dokie. I'm tired. It's been a very busy day. All right, so I'm going to take these guys out. I'm going to cut one open and make sure they're good all the way through. But I'm going to get this last batch in. You can make these any size you want. If you're having a party and you want like an appetizer size and you want to, you know, put some kind of cream or some kind of little topping on them, you absolutely could. They would make a great paleo delivery vehicle for a sauce, a smoked salmon. Ooh, they would be really, really good with smoked salmon, I think. That sort of thing. So you could do a lot with these. We're just serving them as our vegetable side dish, so I'm going to make them like about the size of your standard crab cake, because then I'm not having to make 100 of them, you know what I mean? I actually wanted a teeny bit more salt, but that's just me. I'm kind of a salt lover. They look perfect on the outside. So it should come back to my last setting, 350, 10 minutes. Oh, whoops. I can't start. Let me break one of these in half. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfectly cooked all the way through. They're not super cute. You know, when I did them in the skillet, they looked prettier. They have that kind of grill mark on the bottom, so the tops look nicer. If you care about that sort of thing. I still think they look nice, but I care more about how my food tastes than how it looks. So these taste amazing. You saw they were super fast to make. Now if you did all your mixing by hand and you grated your sweet potatoes by hand, it would take a few more minutes, but still you're talking super simple ingredients. The sweet potato, egg, almond flour, some spices, the mayonnaise, and then cook them up. Whether you do it in your skillet, you could totally do these in the oven. If I were going to bake these in the oven, I would preheat my sheet pan with oil. Bacon drippings would be the best. So when I make them in my skillet, I use bacon, reserved bacon fat. But I didn't want to do that, mess with that with the air fryer, so I just use my spray avocado oil. But cooking these in bacon fat is yummy. I would put the fat on my tray, put it in the oven at about 400 and let the tray heat up. And that way when you then scoop your fritter batter, it will sort of sear and get that kind of fried essence and doing it in the oven. So that's how I would do that if I were going to bake it in the oven. So sweet potato fritters, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I thank you for your patience in following along with me as we experiment with the air fryer. I know they really became popular a couple years ago, but just like the Instant Pot pressure cooker, people have held off. They're hesitant. Do I really want this? Do I want another kitchen tool? So I'm going to just keep using it and just keep showing you things and give you my honest opinion. I don't work for them. They're not, I'm not making any money from this or anything. I just want to help you. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, consider subscribing. Leave me a comment below. Introduce yourself. Like and share and hit that little bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I publish a new recipe, which is just about every single Wednesday. All right, have a great day, everybody. I will see you next time.